Hi everyone, my name is Clyde D'Souza and you are watching the first video in this multi-part series where I teach you how to use this amazing software called Canva. Welcome to the Canva Crash Course. In today's video, in the first video of the series, we have a lot to cover and we'll start from the absolute basics. As you can see on the screen, we have a long journey ahead. So let's begin. We'll start by heading on to canva.com. What you can do is you can also look at the description of this video and I have a referral link which you can also use to join canva.com. Once you head on to canva.com, you can sign up for a new account. Now, when you sign up for a new account, you might be given options on how you would like to sign up for this account. You can choose any of the following. Obviously, Google is really easy, or if you prefer the email way, then you can choose to do that as well. For mine, I'll just use my Google account. And since I already have an account with Canva, what I'll do is I'll just log in instead. And when I log in, I'll click on continue with Google and it will pop up the option to select my Google account and then allow me to sign in to Canva. Now, after you do so, you will land onto the Canva dashboard. This is the home page. This is where you will start off your journey, and this is where you'll see all your designs once you have added them in, and a lot of navigation around. So don't be overwhelmed. We will look at it step by step. Now, the first thing we would look at, which is the essential task that you would want to do in Canva, is creating a new Canva design. To do that, you will click on the Create a Design button, which is conveniently located on the top left of your screen in this particular version of Canva. You see, you click on that, and what you have in front of you is a lot of options. Once again, don't be overwhelmed. It is actually super simple. What you have is options for you to choose an existing template. So there's a lot of pre-built templates that you can just pick. So if you want a simple A4 doc, you can just pick one of this. Comes with a design, you don't need to do anything. Or if you want some website designs, you can do that. Or even on the left, you have various options which you can choose from, like social media, for example. So I have some Instagram posts which you can choose from, some stories. All of this comes with pre-made design templates. If you like the design straight away, you can just click on one of those and then just edit some text and you're done for the day. Now, if you don't want to click on these straight away, you also have the option to click on one of these options here on the top, and they come with the size already preset. So it'll give you blank canvases, but the size will be preset. So for example, if I click on this one here, Instagram post square, this already comes with the canvas, with a blank canvas, but in this case the size will already be set to 1080 pixels. So if I go into file, I can see that the size is 1080 pixels height and width. Now if you just go back for a minute and click on create a design, click on custom size. This is where you can actually select a custom size for your design. So maybe one of these pre-built templates doesn't work for you. In that case, you would want to enter a custom size. So let's say if I select 500 by 200 and I click on create a new design, then it creates a blank canvas with the size that I've just set. And you can always come back to file and check that indeed it is 500 pixels by 200 pixels. Here I am again on the create a design. I can also search for what I would like. So I'll just say maybe presentation on volcano, and it shows me a few options. Now this is a bit difficult to visualize what it is going to create. So if you don't want to choose this method, if you don't want to create a design using this method, I completely agree. It is not very clear what you're selecting until you actually click into it and you see what the output is. That is one option. But of course, if let's say you're looking for, a presentation, an educational presentation, you can click on education, for example, or any one of these options, and then you can choose what type of infographic do you want, what type of poster do you want. Let's say if I want to just go for a simple presentation, then I can just click on one of these, for example, and it will not only create the size, it will not only create the design with a size, it will also add the design that it showed in the preview. So it already comes built with these particular assets into the presentation, and all you can do is just build on top of that. So this is a good option if you are looking to create on top of something that already exists, on top of a design template that already exists. This will also save you a lot of time and basically a lot of effort as well. So that's your three options of creating a new design. Now, while we are already here, let's give you a quick tour of what you see. And this is the editor screen that you will possibly be spending quite a bit of time on trying to get your design right. So let's have a look and let's familiarize ourselves with this particular view. You have a toolbar on the top. This has a few options, but this is more of like the whole file options. Like, what do you want to do with the file? Do you want to download it? Do you want to share it? Do you want to resize or rename it? Actions in the toolbar usually affects the entire file, not quite the contents of it. To affect the contents of it, usually you would click into one of these items. So anything that you see in the main canvas is what affects the contents, and anything that you see in the left hand side is what will affect the contents of the file. Now in the bottom toolbar, you have some more options, but again, this doesn't affect the file, I would say, but it more assists you while you're managing the file. So that's how the segregation is. So for example, I can use this slider to zoom in and out. And I have a few more options here as well. Those options are a thumbnail view, which is on the bottom right of your screen, where I can see the different pages. So let's say if I just have multiple pages here, I can actually see the multiple pages using just these thumbnail views and just click into it as I explore my project. Or I can go back to the scroll view where all the pages are just viewed by scrolling. So this is kind of very similar to something like Google Docs or any document where you just scroll through the pages. Now I can also click on grid view, and that shows me all the pages has files in a grid, and I can of course close the grid view to go back to what it was. And then I can also look at it in a full screen, and I can present it in a full screen, which just basically just plays the whole thing in a full screen. Now here I can also zoom in and out, as we had a look at very briefly before, and it depends on where you click. You can click wherever you want, but you kind of end up zooming in that aspect itself. So you can keep going, keep doing that. And you can also click on this percentage button here and have some preset options. So let's say if you want to zoom to fit the screen, fit everything, all the contents in your screen, then you can click on that button, or you can also click on fill, and that sort of fills the entire space of your, uh, it zooms in to fit the entire space of your screen. Or you can of course select one of these preset options which kind of already sets at that particular zoom level. So those are your few options. Now, of course, there's another option here, to go to a particular page. You can type the page that you want to go, hit enter, and you end up going to that particular page. And then you can click on this hamburger menu, and that opens up Canva and the options that you see on the home page. To come out of this, as you can see, it has taken up some of the screen space. So to get out of this view, do not click on this close button here, but instead you have to click on this close button that only appears when you put your mouse over. See, when you click on this, you go back to the whole full screen view where you can see all of your editor. All right, now next up, we'll have a look at some basic file actions. So to continue with what we have this presentation over here. I can, if I want to rename something, I can just click on this text box here and just rename it to whatever project name I want to give it. So let's say if I rename this to my cool project, I can do that, click out, and there you go. I have renamed my file. But I can also go back to the home page if I just reload this page, because sometimes the renaming of the file doesn't quite show up when you go back here. But hey, now it shows up. It shows up as my cool project. And if I'm still not happy with it, I can click on this one right here and I can give it whatever other name that I want to give it. And there you go. I've renamed the project once again. And then I also have another option to rename, which is just clicking on here, and I can rename the file from here as well. So there you go. Multiple ways in which I can rename a file. All right, so next up, let's say if I decide to make a copy of my file, just quickly duplicate it, I can click on file and I can click on make a copy, which makes a copy of my original file. So as you can see, it is already named it as copy of my happy project. Now there's another way to make a copy. If I go into the home page, I can also click on this three dots and make a copy of my project from here, and it again makes a copy of the project over here. Now let's say if I made a copy of a particular project by mistake, or if I am done with a particular design and I want to delete a particular project, all I can do is simply click on three dots and then click on move to trash, and that moves the design to the trash bin. I can always go to the trash bin, click on that, and see the designs that I have deleted. I can also click on the three dots of a particular design in the trash bin, in the recycle bin, and either click on restore, which would move the design back into my home page, or I can just click on delete from trash itself and it will delete this file permanently. So be careful before doing that, because you can't restore after that. Now, as you can see, there's a particular notice over here which says that your designs from the trash will automatically be deleted. So if you don't do that anyway, you have just a 30-day grace period before which or after which the design will be permanently deleted. Now, if I am already in the Canva editor and if I want to delete the project from this screen, I can click on file and then I can click on move to trash, and this pops up with a confirmation if I indeed want to delete this, and I can click on yes, move to trash, and then it will delete the project from my Canva account and move it to the trash bin in my Canva account. And then of course same restoration rules applies, and the delete or permanently delete rules also apply. Now let's say if I want to move this particular project into a particular folder, I can click on the file menu and click on move to a folder. Now this option will show me all the folders that I currently already have, and if I don't want to move to a particular folder, I can always create one on the go. So let's say volcanoes, and then click on move to folder, and this design gets added to the particular folder that I just created, which in this case is volcanoes. All right, so there you go. We are now in project volcanoes, and you can find the design right over here. Now, if I'm back on the home screen and I want to move a particular design to a folder, I can always again go back to the three dots and click on move to a folder, and this would show up some options, again the same options of what folder would I want to move this design into, and I can always create one. But let's say in this case I just want to move it to the test folder. I can click on that, click on the test folder and click on move to folder to move this design into the particular folder. Very nice and easy. Alright, now I know this is what you all have come here for. The main purpose is to learn about Canva, and let's just get into it. Now, this is editing your design. So this section is all about adding and editing elements and making a design what it should be, right? So let's just take it easy and start off with an already made design, and then perhaps later we'll look at starting from a blank canvas. So what I have here with me is a design that's already been added. So this is already a volcanoes presentation that we have done, and the basic idea of editing a Canva design is basically clicking on things and editing it on go. So for example, I'm here clicking on this text. I can see that I can just move this with the cursor. I can move it around. I can put it on top over here. I can put it down here. I can put it on the bottom right here. I can also click on these sort of circles at the very corners and drag inwards to decrease the font size, or drag outwards to increase the font size. So I can do that if I want. I can also resize it this way, in which case the text just wraps into the next line. And then I can also click on this undo button over here on the top left to undo it, or Control Z or Command Z from your keyboard to undo any change that you have made. So you might make a mistake, click on undo to revert it back to what it was. Now, while we are still at the text, you can see that if I click on it, I have this toolbar visible right here on the top, which is a lot of options for me to format how my text should look like in the design. So for example, I can change it to a different font family. So let's say if I click on this one here, you can see that the text changes the way it looks. I can click on something like this, and again it changes the way it looks. So a lot of options over here. I won't go through all of them, but this is something that you can play around with and see what design, what style of the font suits your design the best. Speaking of font size that we have already had a look at before by dragging the corners, I can also change it over here. I can change the font size over here, or I can click on it and I either select a preset font size, or I can also type in the font size that I want. Now I can also change the font color by clicking on the text color and then just changing it to the font color that I like, and I can just leave it at that, just clip outside, and then it just goes away. Now I can also either make the text bold, italics, or underline. Depending on what font type you have used, you might not see the bold and italics options, but with other fonts it is available. So it really depends on what font style or what font family you have selected. So in this case, let's just make it underlined, and as you can see, that change is applied. You can also strike through, make something capital only, or just uppercase, or just a lowercase, or whatever the case that you have typed. So if I can keep it as uppercase, I can change the direction. So either on the alignment, so I can keep it center aligned, right aligned, or go back to justified or left aligned. So this is more visible if you go end to end and then see the difference over here. So there you go. That is the alignment. Next up, we have a list. So you can, if there's obviously multiple items in your list, you can click on that and then it chooses a bullet list or a numbered list, or you can click on it once again to go back to the default, which was no list. Now you can also look at spacing, but let's take a look at a paragraph. So I have a paragraph over here, and in this paragraph, I can look at spacing. So line spacing just increases the spacing between two lines in the paragraph, and I can go backwards as well. And I can also increase the letter spacing, which increases spacing between the letters in the text. So that's quite useful. Next, I can also set the opacity or the transparency of the text. And so if I decrease it, as you can see, it sort of fades into the background, and then completely zero, it just becomes completely transparent. You can choose how you would like your text to be seen. Not just text, every other element in your design file can be moved. So if I want to move the volcano itself, I can move this image. I can resize it as well. So it goes with all these elements. I can just resize items wherever I want. I can place them wherever I want, which is really cool. So as you can see over here, this image, it's like a moon, I suppose. Uh, this has been hidden in the top right, but of course it's an entire image. So you can just hide something in the top right corners and make it appear as if it was just a half a moon, for example. Some of these images are SVG images, not just your regular images. And SVG images allow you to actually customize the colors that go into the image in your design file itself. So the beauty about SVG images is it shows you these colors on top, and then if I want, I can always change it to different colors. If I click on this, you can see that it has actually changed the color. And then if I want to change the color of the mountain, I can do that as well. And then similarly, you have a lot of elements. So again, this is an image, but here we have a shape. Now this text is nicely placed over the shape to have this sort of highlighting effect. Let me just show you what options you have when you select a shape. You have the color, so you can change this to whatever color you want. You can have a border for your shape. And this is again very useful. You can have the border radius. So as you can see, the border radius here increases and decreases depending on whatever your design what you want. You have your border style as well, so you can either choose like a dotted one, or you can select a very straightforward border. You can actually have a text inside the shape, so you don't necessarily need to place a separate text onto a shape. You can have the text straight away typed inside the shape, and then you can, just like with any other text that we just had a look at before, you can format this text as you like. Now with your shape, you can also click on the edit option here to switch this into a completely different shape. And as you can see, this also has a few options. There's a lot of shapes available, so you can choose whichever shape you like, and that particular shape gets placed here instead of what was originally there. And then you can definitely um, resize the shape to whatever shape or whatever size suits your design the best. So you can absolutely do that. And then you can absolutely also rotate the shape as you like, and then move the shape around as well as you like. Now let's say I want to move some elements, but it just doesn't match the orientation perhaps that I would like. I can also rotate the image, and as you can see, this rotates it completely. You can completely rotate it full 360 degrees depending on how you'd like your design to really fit in. And maybe this orientation of that image works for you the best, so then you can just keep it at that. If I click into the image, I can see that I have a few more options over here in the image toolbar. Again, I can change the colors to something completely different, but I can also add a border to the image, and along with the border I can also add a border radius to the image, which gives this a curved edges to the image. I can also crop the image to whatever size suits me the best and click outside, and then that's the extent to which it got cropped. So for example, if I try this again, and I can also select a pre set ratio of size that I wish to crop my image into. So let's say if I do a 16:9, it already presets the crop window into that particular size. This is great if you already know what you want, in what ratio you want. Maybe there's a particular avatar that you want this ratio to be, which is usually a square sort of 1:1 ratio, or you want a 16:9 banner on your design. It is completely up to you. So I can then move the image so that it fits into my banner or my crop window, and I can also extend. So if I extend this crop window, it sort of automatically resizes it in the same ratio. It maintains the same ratio. It doesn't go off in any orientation. It maintains the same ratio, and I can wish to put more content, more image content in the crop window. And then of course I click on done, and then that becomes my new image or my crop image. If you don't like this particular crop, you can always go back to crop and then go freeform and then switch it back to the whole image that you wanted. So you just extend this crop all the way back. There you'll see that it has gone back to the full image. Now you have your full image back. But of course, you also have another option, and that other option is to just click on the undo button. Then you can click on this multiple times, and then you can go back to whatever image size that you originally liked. You can go back to that at any time. Like with text and with shape, you can also change the transparency of the image, and you can do this by clicking on the transparency button. And as you can see, you can completely fade the image with the design. Now, of course, there's also the option to delete items from your design. You can go there by clicking on the item and then just pressing the delete button on your keyboard, and that will delete the item from your design. Click on the item and then click on the delete button on your keyboard to delete the item from your design. But you can also click on the particular element on your design and then click this track icon here to delete the item from your design. Now let's say if you want to add more pages to your design, you can scroll down and click on add page to add a new page to your design file, and then just add contents to it as you wish. But let's say if you want to add a particular page in the middle of two existing pages, then you can click on this button here to add a new page right after the page that you click the button from. So if I want to add a new page between page number 2 and 3, then I go on to page number 2 and click on this button to add a page in between page number 2 and 3. So now page number 3 becomes page number 4, and page number 3 is now the new page. Now I have an empty page over here, and I want to fill it with content. So as you can see, the background has already been copied, which is good. But what if I want to copy these elements onto the new page as well? I can either do a Control C, Control V on my keyboard to copy these elements, or I can click on this particular button over here, which duplicates the particular element that I've selected. In my opinion, you would end up using the keyboard shortcuts more than this particular button, because copy and paste is such a common task that you're just so familiar with using Control C, Control V all the time. Now let's drag this image. Let's drag this image from page number 2 to page number 3. And once you leave your mouse, it automatically gets placed over here. This image of this volcano has the fumes coming out towards the left hand side. Let's see if I want to invert this, if I want to make this the other way. I can click on this image and then click on flip horizontally for the image to now be flipped horizontally, and the fumes of this volcano are now coming towards the right hand side. So that is like a very easy way to change your image without really having to redesign your image or re-upload your image. So I know we covered a lot of basic editing techniques in your Canva editor, and I hope that this information was really useful. There's many more features that we still have to cover, but we'll cover those features in the future series. For now, we'll take a look at how to download this file that we have already made. All right, so now you have created your design by learning everything that was taught in this video. So now it is time for you to download your design so that you can upload it to your social media, or you can, use a presentation for your work, or you can print it out and do whatever you want with the design. All right, so let's now learn the important part of actually how to download your design. And to do that, you go back to your design file. As you can see, I have all the pages here. I will click on the share button, and then I would have to click on the download button. Now here we have few options on downloading, on how the type of file you would like to download. So that's up to you. You can just click on this drop down to choose between the different file types that you want to be able to download. Now, it really depends on what your use case is, but let's say if this was a presentation, you can click on this PowerPoint presentation, for example, and then you can select if you want all the pages. So by default, everything is selected, or if you want only a few pages from the design file, which it could very well be the case. So if you want all the pages, just let it be selected. Let what are the defaults are, let that be selected. But let's say if you do not want all the pages, you can uncheck this box, and then you can manually check the boxes that you would like to download. And only those pages that you selected will be downloaded. So please keep that in mind. Now for this demo, let's just click all the pages and see what it looks like. And then all you have to do is just click on the download button, and that will download the PowerPoint presentation. There you go. So the presentation has been downloaded. We can click on it to view it if you would like. There you go. So I've opened up PowerPoint, and this is my presentation over here. As you can see, it has brought all the pages from my Canva design into PowerPoint. So it has exported it very nicely. Now I can just use this in my presentation if I would like. One another common use case is social media or other digital media that you might want, and in which case, again, you would want to probably download it as maybe a JPEG or a PNG. So these are very popular image files that you might want to use. So in that case, you can just click on it. Now, once you select PNG as your file type, you have a few more options to choose from. Some of these options are behind a paywall. So if you're using a free account, unfortunately, you won't be able to do that. But what you still have the option is to select what pages you want. Now, this is a bit different. If you select all pages over here and click on done and then download, you would actually get a zip file which contains all the images. So as you can see, we have the zip file that's downloaded, and in the zip file we have all these images. If you just want a specific design page to be downloaded as a single image, then you can click on whatever the page that is. So let's just check this box, for example, page number 3. Click on done and then click on download. Now this will download the single image, so just a PNG of that slide only. So it doesn't download the entire zip file. And then of course I definitely urge you to have a look at all these different options. Just play around with it as we progress into the next part in this series. So Canva Crash Course Part 2, Part 3. We'll look at adding animations, we'll look at adding videos and all of those things. And in that case, when we do that, we'll have a look at downloading a GIF or downloading a movie itself. But we won't look at that right now. You can play around with the other options while you wait for the other parts in this series. And explore Canva or whatever you've learned. All right, that's all we have to cover in part 1 of this Canva crash course. As you can see on your screen, we have heaps of more features to cover in part 2. So this is just a sneak peek. All right. So make sure you do subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you get a notification when this Canva part 2, Canva crash course part 2 is released. And of course you don't miss any more other videos that's published on this YouTube channel. If you like this video, Canva crash course part 1, make sure that you give it a thumbs up, and you comment down below what you thought of this video and what you have learned from this video. Do consider sharing this video with your friends and family and with your network as well, because that will help this video and this channel very much. Thank you so much once again for tuning to this video, and I hope you really love this video and you got something out of it. You learned something from this Canva crash course part 1. Remember, there's more parts in this series, so tune in for the other ones as well. And I wish you the best in your Canva journey. Bye bye.